schedule, and we have another storyteller that's scheduled, but a friend who's coming for the first time to the thing, he said he'd like to have 5 minutes to tell his story, Phil Smy.
Here he goes.
I can talk in stereo. Which is better, shorter? I don't know. Yeah, so I had two choices, interesting, two microphones that I was going to choose to talk about tonight. One was the story about how I came here, the circuitous route that led me to Charles. But he said he didn't want anything too sensational, so we're going to leave that one out. And the other one was a little bit of a story about 15 years ago. I was living in Amsterdam, and from what I remember, I was depressed at the time. And my then wife, she decided to go to India and to cure her depression because we were both depressed. And so what I decided to do was to go to a therapist. Because my parents had always said, you know, if you have something to fix, hire somebody. And so I hired a therapist. And I had never been to a therapist before. Are there any therapists in the room? They're all fucking crazy. So this woman, I went there, and she was a very diminutive woman, about this tall and this wide. And she was American trained. I'm Canadian, by the way, so you're forgiven. So I went in there, and she said she was this particular kind of therapy, which I didn't know anything about, and that's nice. And she was the only one who was on my list of English-speaking therapists in Amsterdam. So I went in. You know, I just realized I've never told this story to anybody before. So I went in there, and it was very interesting. She said, "What's your problem?" I said, "Oh, I'm feeling a little depressed, and things aren't working out as I thought they would." "Oh, no shit, because it's life." And, you know, so I sat there for a while, and I went through the list of things I was depressed about. And she said, "You know, wow, you know, that sounds like you really got some deep problems." Not problems, she didn't use that word. She got some, you know, deep feelings that you should address. And I said, "Okay, all right, let's address my feelings." And she said, "In my particular kind of therapy, we can do that in two ways." She says, "We can talk about some things in your past that you think are significant, or we can do some, well, not role play, but it was play." And I said, "Okay, play sounds interesting, you know, so let's do the play." And so she takes out a drawer of tiny little people and animals. And she said, "This is time to embrace your inner child and play like a child, and through those things, combat your depression." And I said, "Okay, what was the other option?" And she said, "The other option was to talk about, you know, things in your past that maybe were a problem." And she goes, "Tell me about your past." And, you know, my life, sometimes I think my life's been interesting, but pretty much I'm normal, boring person who happens to have lived in these places or whatever. So I went through, okay, you know, I had a normal family, my parents didn't divorce, I went through university, well, I went to college and then I left because I didn't see the point. So it was just, you know, normal. And I ran out of things pretty fast to talk about. So we could continue talking about my life, or could use the little people and the animals. So I realized my only option was to lie. So I had to make up a history to prevent the little people and the animals, because I was on the clock here. I paid for an hour, goddammit, so I wasn't going to leave. So I went through, and my therapy, I should look this woman up, because what I did was related episodes of the Brady Bunch as if they were my life. And she never caught on. So there was the incident where my brother and I were playing catch, and I threw the ball and it hit him in the nose and broke his nose. You know, so all these snippets that I could remember from the Brady Bunch were my life. And at the end of it, so she goes, "Okay, time's up. You know, it's been very interesting." She goes, "It sounds like you have a very complicated family relationship. The other part, the thing I left out is that I actually only have one brother, so I had to squeeze the other 5 Bradys into my brother. So at the end of it, she said, "It sounds to me like your brother has some problems." So that was the end of it, and really that's all I wanted to say. Thank you very much.